You don't need to be posting more on Instagram. You don't need to be making more content and burning yourself out. Instead, you need to focus on building a personalized and intentional Instagram strategy. And in this video, I'm not only going to show you the step-by-step process on exactly how to do this, a service that I usually charge $1,000 to clients for, but I'm also going to provide you with a super easy to use template that will enable you to have your strategy set up and finished in 10 minutes or less. And yes, the template that you're looking at is in Trello, a software that I've been using in my business for over 5 years now. Since the day I started, I've been using Trello and I love it, which is why I'm incredibly excited to say that Trello is sponsoring today's video. Trello has just announced some very exciting new features that are going to be launching in April. I've been able to test out some of these new features myself, and I'm really excited to share some of those with you in today's video. Now, I can't lie, the first step of building your social media strategy can be kind of tedious for my fellow creatives. Like, we want to just get stuck in, we want to get started making content, but the first thing we need to do is rewind, backtrack, and settle down and look at our goals. Typically, most people on social media are going to have one of 3 goals. They're going to want to increase their sales, increase their community and connection or relationship with their audience, or they want to see more growth and more followers. For me, I will always have all 3 of these goals in mind, and then I will pick one to be my priority goal. And this will vary depending on the season that I'm in business. So at the moment, I have my Trello board set up with my number 1 goal as increasing sales, and I have that front and center in my goals category. Last year, I think I focused a little bit too much on my growth content, which was great. I've built a really great community across most of my social channels now, but I'm really doubling down on the selling at the moment. In particular, I'm doing a launch for my program, the Dishing Up Digital School, which trains social media managers to set up a business like mine. If you jump into your Trello template, I actually have written a bullet point list of what you need to be focusing on for each individual goal. So for example, because my goal is sales, this is going to directly impact the type of content that I am posting. It means that I will probably have longer captions. It means I'll probably have stronger call to actions. I'll probably be featuring more testimonials and social proof. I might lean more into long form reels to explain my products or my services more, or I might lean into carousel posts because I know those are really good at targeting existing followers rather than going off and targeting new followers like it would be if I had a growth goal as my priority at the moment. So feel free to grab your template from the description box and have a look at these 3 goals, see what resonates with you, and see how this starts to inform your content strategy. The next 2 steps of your social media strategy are going to look at a little bit more of the market research and analysis. First, we are going to tackle your audience analysis, and then second, your competitor analysis or your industry leaders. And there's a reason for this. I want your primary focus to not be on the other people around you in your industry or niche. I want the focus instead to be on your audience. You'll see in your handy template in Trello, I've already broken down the key things you want to study about your audience, your demographics, their likes and dislikes, pain points. I've actually popped in a few examples of my own pain points that I have for my audience. And this is where I also like to start storing questions from my audience. So if I get a comment asking for a particular, like podcast episode request, I want to be storing that in this section of my strategy. If I have any feedback on my products or my services, any testimonials, I want to make sure that again is front and center of my strategy. One feature that I've been loving using on Trello is their new inbox. This is where you can literally take things from your email and forward them over to Trello, and it will populate as a card, and you can drag and drop it into any of your relevant boards. This does make it really easy when I get testimonials come through on email or comments on any of my digital products. I also get email notifications about that. I can forward them to Trello and then drag them across and pop them into my strategy, because again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but your strategy is all about what does your audience want from you? How can you offer them more value? How can you help them? Without a system like this beautiful Trello board that I've created for you, it is really easy to lose track of those important questions and testimonials from your clients and customers. If you have anything come through social media, it's as easy as screenshotting, drag and drop the image into your Trello board as well. The next step, as I mentioned, industry leaders. Now, this is also what people refer to as competitor analysis. I really love referring to it as industry leaders because I don't want to get into a comparison trap. I don't want to be researching other creators in my niche and then feeling like jealous or feeling like a sort of pressure to copy all of their ideas. We still want to be fostering our own creativity and also just like not putting ourselves in a deep hole of depression and comparison. And this is where I really love to look outside my niche. As an example, I've pulled up Girls That Invest, one of my favorite creators online. And this is someone who's a completely different niche to me, literally like investing. Do not ask me for financial advice, Instagram and marketing advice only. And what I love about this is it allows me to do competitive research, see what's trending, see what conversations are really performing well with the algorithm without falling into a comparison mindset trap and instead looking at other coaches and other social media managers. Now, what I've done on the Trello board is actually given you a checklist of how to conduct a competitor analysis. So go out, find your industry leaders, find the people that you would love to study and learn from their content. I've also set up a Trello automation here. So anytime you do add someone to this little list, if we put Girls That Invest there, click enter, it's going to automatically add your little checklist there. There we go, populated with little 9 checklists, 9 little points on your checklist. So this will kind of guide you through if you feel a bit paralyzed by the idea of looking at someone's socials and trying to draw information and data from it. So if I open this up, I can kind of have a look through and be like, oh, this is someone like sharing screenshots of their YouTube videos. I could definitely create a piece of content in this structure, but let me just think about how I could do it from a social media management perspective instead of an investing perspective. So maybe I put a photo on here that's about a freedom-based business model, or I want to become a social media manager, but I have no experience and I have no idea where to start. And then maybe it slides into, hey, look, these are all my YouTube videos. So a really cool way to get ideas and inspiration and kind of validate your content ideas before you start sharing them. And again, we can take a little screen grab of this one. We can take a little screen grab of the profile here. Sorry, my little screenshot is a very aggressive sound effect on my computer. And we can jump into Trello, we can grab that screenshot, drag it across, drop it in, and the file uploads there. We can also just make any notes here. So we can put 500K followers, post likes average between, I think I'm going to say like 4K up to 50K for high performers. I love this pinned post of Sim in Forbes. I have not been in Forbes, but maybe I could take that as pinned posts of media features or social proof. The idea of what I'm trying to teach you here is to approach your social media strategy from a strategic standpoint. We're not just like making things up as we go along. We are using research and data to back our decisions up. Now, this is when we can start to get a little bit more creative. We're going to move into the next step of our social media strategy, which is our content pillars. I know some people hate on content pillars and they're like, those are so outdated. Don't use content pillars in 2025. I will argue with anybody who says that because I have been using content pillars for myself, for my clients for years now, and I've seen firsthand how effective it can be in helping people feel more organized with their content, and just everything becomes easier when you have a structure and a certain amount of pillars that you're rotating through and following. But I can guarantee you, on those weeks when you're like, I have no idea what to post, content pillars are the foundation you should be coming back to. So for example, my content pillars are set up to support someone who's a little bit further along, a little bit more advanced in this social media journey. And my content pillars are FAQs, so educational content, but instead of calling it educational, I call it FAQ because I really want to lean into what other questions my audience is asking me. Behind the business, inspirational, motivational, relatable, and humorous. You might have content pillars that are split off and designed around your products or services. You could have a transformation, like Transformation Tuesdays. You might have a little series. If maybe you're in the cooking industry, you might have recipes as one of your niche. You might also have behind the scenes. You might also have your origin story. So technically everybody could copy my content pillars, but if you need a little bit more structure and you need those themes to be like, okay, recipes, hacks, testimonials, social proof, like you can structure your content pillars that way instead. As you can see, Trello has come through with some handy color coding here. And if I skip a little bit ahead of my strategy and I show you guys my content calendar, which we'll dive into in more depth in a second, you can see how I've been able to tag each each card in Trello and each piece of content with a content pillar. The key thing here is we can really be intentional making sure we're rotating through these content pillars. And for example, it's become quite obvious here, I've been heavy on content pillar 3 and content pillar 1, which is my FAQ and inspirational content, which is what I always do. And looking at this content calendar reminds me, oh, I need to be sharing more behind the business content. Like I haven't hit that content pillar this week. So it might remind me to be like, okay, next week I want to film a vlog, or I want to do a behind the scenes tutorial on the systems and workflows in my business. That is how these content pillars work in action. And how gorgeous is that color coding from Trello? If you want to add a label to a piece of content, it's really easy. You just click on here and then you can kind of change the colors. In case you're not a fan of pink, I won't be offended if you change my template. And you can also put little like labels in here, like you can name them depending on like the task and how you want to code it. So obviously I've got content pillar and ready to post there, but we're getting a little bit ahead of myself there. And we're going to move on to the next step of your social media strategies, and that is content types. Now, content types is something that for me is a branch off your content pillars. You will notice in here, I talk about the importance of longer form pieces of content, face-to-cam chatty videos to create trust with your audience. And that is where your strategy is not working effectively if you're only doing one piece of content type. So if you need that accountability, feel free to use the labeling feature to color code these and track that through your content calendar as well. Now, as you guys know, Trello is all about the organization. It's about the workflows. And that was why I wanted to make this template on Trello for you guys, because keeping up with your social media strategy is about being organized and having routines. So that brings me very nicely to the next step of your strategy, routines. So we have a little column here in the Trello template with the key actions you are probably going to be taking on a weekly or a monthly basis to maintain your Instagram page. You can set dates on these, you can add reminders. One of the features I love in Trello, you can see the little icon there, but it's this like automatic repetition of cards. So under this little power ups, you'll see repeat. And if you don't have that power up, you just click add power up. But select that, and I can say I want to be editing content weekly. What did I decide on that? Weekly on Mondays. So we just go repeat, Mondays, weekly, save. And this means that every week you're going to have that card on Trello repopulate. So I can check off filming for last week. I've done my filming, done my editing, and then when the next Friday and the next Monday roll around, I'm going to automatically have a card pop up and remind me to do it, which is awesome. Same goes here for like the monthly analytics check-in. I don't tend to do this weekly. I do like a monthly analysis of my social media. If we click on repeat, and let's go every 4 weeks and maybe on like a Friday, every 4 weeks on a Friday. Click save. And boom. Now, to enhance your organization even more, Trello has introduced a very cool feature called Planner. So if we navigate down to this menu here, you can see this is synced with my Google Calendar, which bless this week is looking lovely and empty. You can see I've got a live Q&A with my students and then a facial on Thursday. We love being a social media manager, am I right? You can see I also had a meeting today. So you can really make sure that you're staying on top of what's happening in your calendar, and also, work on your content. For me, I'm most creative and productive in the mornings, so I'll often try squeeze in as much work as I can in the mornings, but I also have to balance my meetings because I live in New Zealand and the morning tends to be like the best time slot for meeting my US clients and students. So I use the planner feature to really just time block and find slots in my day where I can do content creation. So for example, I have my 10 a.m. meeting tomorrow, but if I get up at 9, not 8:30, please. No, that's ridiculous. Your girl does not wake up that early. We're gonna wake up at 9 and do some content, some like focus time working on my content creation. Then perhaps we could put another block here and maybe we're doing some YouTube editing, so we can add 2 hours there. If you are a fellow social media manager watching this video or a service provider, this is just like so important because I think we often neglect our own content creation. That's always gets put on the back burner and we prioritize our client content. So having this little planner feature, like I can go down here and I can switch to one of my client boards and be working on the client content, then get my reminder or have my calendar open so I know when my meeting starts and I don't miss that, because yes, sometimes I get caught up in my content creation and forget about meetings. I can have it all in the same place, but then I can also create that focus time to work on my own content and switch back across to my own personal strategy. Now, this brings me to step 7 of your social media strategy, what I could eloquently call idea generation, but I've actually just called it an idea dump. And this is what it sounds like. Any idea that you come up with can be dumped down into your strategy so you can keep track of things on the go. Trello has an amazing mobile app. It's probably one of my longest standing apps on my phone now that I think about it, but really great features, and it makes it really easy while you're on the go, when you're thinking of a content idea or you're out and about or someone says something in an in-person meeting, you can just jot it down on your Trello board on your phone. I love calling it an idea dump as well because there's something just like casual about it, like just dumping down ideas. There's no judgment here. Like no one else is gonna see this. This is just where you foster a little bit of that creativity. As a creative person, I can guarantee you, you're not gonna feel creative all of the time. So we wanna make sure that we always have an idea dump. Previously, I used to keep this in my notes app on my phone, but I would often lose track of it. So having it in the same place as your content calendar, as your content strategy is really perfect. I've also used the same checklist function and created an automation and rule to repeat the checklist. So if you open this up, you'll see that I've taken that post from Girls That Invest and be like, ooh, I love this. This is how I'm gonna sort of recreate it and do something for myself. And then I have my handy dandy checklist so I can monitor, have I filmed this piece of content? Have I edited it? Or maybe I've filmed it but not edited it. Maybe I've already written a caption but I haven't actually filmed it. Whatever your workflow might be. Making sure, does this content align with my current goals or support my goals? It's just a nice little checklist in there. And then the easy thing about this is your ideas, you can just drag and drop them into your calendar and then click on your edit dates and schedule it in to your content calendar. Now, obviously Trello is not a social media scheduler. However, I am a big fan of posting manually on Instagram. This is what I have been doing apart from, when I go on holiday. This is what I've been doing for the last 5 years of my business. I think it makes you a lot more engaged and in touch with your community. You're not posting and ghosting. And when you have a content calendar set up like this in Trello, you open it up on your phone. All you're doing is downloading the creative assets. So for videos, I often have them linked in a Google Drive just because I want to have all my videos stored in one Drive folder in case I want to repurpose them. If it's a social graphic, you will have seen here, you just click on here and download the graphic images or carousels pieces. Then all we're doing on the mobile app is we're going to copy and paste the caption, boom. Download, copy, paste, post. And this is how I'm able to post manually without taking up huge amounts of my time. I'm still very organized and reaping the benefits of having a content calendar, but I am just posting manually and also reaping the benefits of that and being in touch, not posting and ghosting. That's what it's all about. And this is the other thing that I just love about Trello as a creative person, as a visual person, it looks damn beautiful. Don't you be in my comments telling me that this template is not functional and speeding up your workloads, but also gorgeous. One thing I don't have on here, and I actually keep it in a separate Trello board, is I always have quite a big archive of all of my content. So you can see this is my little Instagram page, which I mainly just use for archiving content now. But this is really great because it means I can come in here and reuse a graphic or reuse a caption. That's definitely what I use it for the most, is just copying and pasting and repurposing captions. But if you wanted to, if we jump back into our strategy template, you could simply add a little extra step here and put it as your archive. Of course, you can archive posts just like that, but I personally like still being able to see my posts so I can put them in a visual archive. You can also use the search function here if I wanted to do another piece of content on a content calendar. If we search that up, it will bring up if I have any other pieces of content that I could repurpose. Here we go. How to make a content calendar. Awesome. We could literally repurpose this caption to promote this YouTube video or to promote one of my previous ones, because I have done one on creating content calendars. And that definitely is a perk of using Trello long term for not just your social media strategy for Instagram, but for other social platforms to help with repurposing, using it for team management, task management. Having it all in one place is just super easy breezy and efficient. So this template is going to be linked down below, and I would love it if you left me a comment. I would love to hear if you've used Trello before, because I am absolutely fangirling filming this video. So any support in the comments is much appreciated. If you want to throw this video a like if it's helped you. And as I mentioned, do not forget to check out the description box to grab that link to your social media strategy template so you can have this set up and running and you can feel really confident in your content decisions instead of scrambling at the last minute for ideas. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.